Benson 跟我们说，这个故事是23年之前，他有一次呢，他就带他的女朋友，现在已经是前女朋友，所以他带他女朋友，当时的女朋友去香港度假，他们是住在金巴利道的那一区。你懂香港的金巴利道是 actually 是很长的，所以他也不要跟我们讲是哪一个酒店啦。So 是他只是说是在公园的对面 ，OK， 你们自己去猜。So 他记得他们当时那天他们去的时候是星期一 ，OK，and then 星期一他们到了香港的时候，then 他们就从机场去到酒店。当他们到酒店的时候，他们就办了手续啊这些东西，then 上去房间啊放下行李，then 他们走出去酒店的对面的那个商场去吃午餐。然之后他们就逛来逛去，走来走去，到晚上11点才回酒店。当他们回到酒店的时候，也应该累了，就搭飞机去那边走来走去，应该也都累了。所以他们洗完澡，他们就要去睡觉了。所以那个女朋友应该也很累，她就很快的睡着。而 Benson 呢，他是一个就是很难入睡的一个人，就像我一样 ，OK， 就很难入睡。所以到了凌晨1点的时候 ，then 他就突然间听到一个声音，就一个喘息声，从一个好像是一个老太太的喘息声，呀，就好像 breathing。他讲是呜呜这样啦，我不懂是怎样啦，真实的我不懂是怎样吧，因为他是写进来是呜呜，他讲是呜呜的声音 ，OK， 就可能是来，可能是这个声音 ，OK。I
can feel it already
所以他就说凌晨1点的时候，他就听到这个，就像一个老太太的那种喘气声，是在他左边床边有一个就是好像柜子，床边柜子这样，就是从那里那个声音就是在那里，他就感觉到好像有人就是在很靠近他的，在那边来呼吸喘气在那边呀。之后他也不想管，因为他也怕嘛，那他就尽量的要去睡觉。之后那个声音就一直来，不停的来到他真的是受不了，他就鼓起勇氣，他就用廣東話講，他就講夠啦，如果你唔中意嘅話，我哋聽日就搬出去，我只喺呢度住一晚啫。就是說，他說夠了，如果你不喜歡的話，我只在這裡住一晚，明天我們就搬出去，這樣。之後那個聲音就停了 ，OK， 還沒完 ，OK， 就停了 ，OK， 然後他就鼓起勇氣，他就下床，他就開燈，就看來看去，看是什麼？可能是空調嗎？可能是廁所裡面的不懂什麼系統有聲音還是什麼呢？找不到。他甚至是蹲下來看床底有沒有東西，就找不到什麼東西。然後他就 OK 算了，然後他就拿了他的一個護身符，他是從觀音廟那裡拿來的符，他就放在他床邊呀。之後你以為那個聲音就 stop 了，對吧 ？No， 還在幾分鐘後，他上床的時候，幾分鐘後就那個喘息聲又來了，就不停的在那邊，因為他有感覺到，就好像有一個人還是就很靠近他的那種，他也感覺到很不舒服，很怕。可是他可以做什麼？沒得做啊，他恨不得下一秒就是早上了，這樣。可是那時候還是在3點多而已。
有關燈嗎？他又關燈？
沒有，他不敢關燈。對，他不敢關燈。辛苦你了 Benson。然之後他就 OK， 真的是睡着了。隔天早上呢，他起來，說他的女朋友去洗澡啊，什麼東西。那他的女朋友就坐在梳妝台前，可能是要化妝還是什麼。然他就坐在床邊床邊的左邊 ，OK， 他是對着咖啡桌跟2張沙發。然後他們就是好像很普通、很平常的一個早上，突然間他們就聽到那個同樣的聲音，就那種聲音。
現在是2個人都聽到。
對，現在是早上了，他女朋友也聽到，他女朋友就很怕，但他女朋友就快點轉過身看着他，因為Benson已經經歷過 来上一晚他已经经历过这些东西了，所以他就很淡定的走去他女朋友那边，你拿你需要拿的东西，我们出去，这样，他就拉住他女朋友出去，因为他女朋友也在那边很怕来，不懂要做什么这样，他就快点拉他出去。然后他们在走廊的时候要走去电梯下楼的时候，连那个女朋友就很生气，他就问他，你是不是知道什么？连本身就说来，昨天晚上我听到这个声音，可是我又找不到是什么，连我也不要叫你起来，因为我怕吓到你。连之后他们就下楼去那个前台，刚好有一个经理在那边，他就跟那个经理用广东话讲来，房間有污糟嘢，我哋要換房。可是因为污糟可能是你肮脏，还是真的是有肮脏东西，你明白吗？是有两个含义的呀。所以那个经理他以为是你们房间肮脏 ，OK sorry， 我们会叫人请人去那边帮你们清理。然后他说不是，是有肮脏东西，闹鬼。然后经理就来，
跟他讲
他跟那个经理他跟那个经理讲，那个经理就来，似乎好像有一点懂。来有些东西还是什么这样，然后他就OK， 我们帮你换房 ，OK，so 就是第二天了，对吧？所以第二天他们跟那个经理讲，他们换房了之后，然后他们就出去，他们去海洋公园他们去水族馆，就Ocean Park 跟 Sea Aquarium，so 他也带了一个就是他父亲送给他的一个非常古老的胶片机OK， 所以他也带去到处拍照，也帮女朋友拍啦，真的是拍了一整天这样。then 有一个地点呢，就是 OK， 你们记住这个 OK， 有一个地点是在水族馆，他帮他的女朋友拍照，就是水族馆不是有很多来巨大的鱼鲨来很多不同的东西 OK， then 他的女朋友就来好像 pose 在那个 Sea Aquarium 那边就 pose 跟那个很大的鱼在那边拍照，所以本身是帮他拍的那个人 OK，so 他们拍完了 then OK，then 在几天过后他们就要回去了， so 那天是星期五早上，他们要回去的时候，他女朋友就说来，不然我们在香港洗胶片吧，洗那些照片出来因为在新加坡很贵，然后他们就 OK， 那他们就去洗照片，等了几个钟头，然后他们拿到照片的时候，他们要赶回去酒店，因为他们已经 book 了一个车带他们回去机场 OK，Benson 在看照片的时候，然后他就发现女朋友不在身边，他就不懂他去了哪里，他就走回他们刚才走过的路，然后他看到他的女朋友就站在那边，脸色苍白，他的手脚都很冷，在那边颤抖着，然后他就感觉到好像有点不对劲，因为他拿出几张照片，他一直在那边瞪着那个照片，有些照片也掉在地板，他也没有去拿，他只是在这冷静的在那边这样， then 他就来发生了什么事， then 他就看就那个女朋友不是在看照片他就来过去看一下啦，就怎么你在看什么，来看到你这样， then 他本来是看到就是他女朋友就是在那边，刚才我不是叫你们记得这一点，他那个女朋友跟那个巨大的鱼在那边拍照，说大概他们有5张那个照片 OK， 可能有不一样的 pose 还是什么，然后看了没有什么来，有什么不同还是很奇怪吗？就那个女朋友就指着给他看， so 有5张照片对吧？4张就是看到，因为你懂 Sea Aquarium 这种来，你跟鱼那拍照来会看到你的 reflection， 就好像灯光也可以反射到你会看到自己在那边，
对，
你懂那些灯。连4张是这样 OK normal OK， 唯一1张他是看到那个反射的那个光呢，不是光，是反射到一个老太婆的脸，就是头像而已，没有身体的
I knew it。
没有身体只是头Oh my god， 我的毛都站了then 他真的是在那边 他也真的是吓到来，连他就跟他女朋友讲，他是不是跟我们去？跟他们从酒店去到海洋公园，去到水族馆，哇哦！连之后他们就快点回去酒店。第二天他们去找到了那个经理，换房间的那个经理，他看到他就给他看那个照片，你看，你这边真的是有东西。连之后他也不要拿那个照片，因为他自己也怕，他讲我给你们，你去看，来去做一些东西吧。就一定是有东西。
Oh my God， 可是他给那个经理看那张照片，right？
对，那个经理就讲什么？你知道？天哪！OK， 他不是讲天哪，那个是我自己的天哪。他讲什么？他讲有妖孽。呀，他讲妖孽啊，这样。之后他们就 OK， 我们也不管了，我们要走了，OK。之后他们走了，离开了酒店之后，right？那个 Benson 他有去几家就是洗照片的这些店，想要去重新洗，可能上一个他们去的那个店就是对有什么 I don't know 会印到什么东西出来这种。连他去的时候，他重新在洗照片的时候，那个照片同样的就是有那个老太婆的头像在那边，然后他就问了那些人来，诶，是不是来？为什么是这样啊？来，这个我没有拍这个嘞，来，我拍的时候没有这个的。然后他就讲，连那个店人就跟他讲，你的照片是这样的，你拍的是这样啊，所以他印出来就是这样咯。呀，然后他就想起，当天他们拍照的时候是没有人在他们旁边的，就只有他跟他女朋友在那边，就很奇怪咯。然后他就想了，一定是那个在房间一直坐着我的那个老太婆跟着我们去 all the way 这样。then 之后 OK， then 他们就也没有再关了，他们就回来新加坡。then 1个星期后，他说他们分手了，是不是？
哦。
Okay, so here's my story time on the Haunted Museum. So I'm only going to be talking about my POV on the museum. I think that's only fair. And I'll be showing some things at the end. And of course it was with their permission. So yeah. Any other questions you might have that doesn't include me, that's just what's going to happen because they just don't want to talk about it. So for the record, we were drained from the museum, and it was hot, but the feeling of feeling drained was completely from the building and our experience, not from the heat. But yeah, we were hot, but it wasn't that. So I did the RIP tour. It was my first time doing the RIP, and it was really, really cool. I definitely would do it again. 2 people in our group did not do the RIP experience, but the 4 of us did, and it was really interesting. So one of my biggest things that really threw me off about something I did was I went down to the basement, and I've always heard stories about how scary and how it has affected workers there, Zach, and even guests, but I was willing to go down there to experience it for myself. I was nervous and I was scared, but once I got down there, it was fine. Apparently we were down there for quite some time. There was 4 of us, me, a friend, and then 2 other people that were in the RIP, but we didn't know them, but they were part of the group. And it was fine. The energy wasn't heavy for me. Throughout the museum, the first time I ever went, the whole entire museum felt very heavy. Like it feels like you're carrying a backpack full of rocks. But this time it didn't feel so heavy. I was just very tense. But down in the basement, it didn't feel heavy. And if you've ever been to the museum, you know what I'm talking about. It feels so strong, and it's weird. When we came back up the stairs to our group, the tour guide had asked us if we had heard anything or what our experience was like, and I had told them that I heard the spirit box say banana, and the other guest that was in there with us, she kept saying that it was so heavy, and I just looked around and I was like, it was fine, and a girl that was standing next to me kind of just like to me, I don't know, I didn't feel it as heavy. I didn't think it was as intense as it was to others, but I can see how it can be. So here's where it gets weird for me. So where I think I got affected was when I went into the conjuring room. So I've been into that room before, and I am aware of the Devil's Rocking Chair. I have read about it, even out of the museum, and I have seen the film, which is not even close to what really happened, but you know, it's fine. But I was aware of it and its curse / energy. When it was explained to us, we were able to go up to the rocking chair. It's still behind a glass, I guess, and since we were RIP, we were able to do that. And there was also another, like, what's the word? Piece of furniture that had a peephole in it, and you can open it, and it was tape. I'm assuming it was the original tape of the recordings of the possession and the exorcism that happened. So that's the part where I got, I guess, dizzy / lightheaded as I was turning the corner going out the room. We ended up having to stand outside and behind some rope listening to the story of another doll. I believe her name was Lily. She was known for being a prankster / mischievous. I remember that, but I also remember my right leg, getting a little achy. After that, they guided us to our next room that happens to have pieces of, I believe, the Titanic. I don't remember. I didn't hear what was happening, but we went into that room and there was a replica of Robert the doll. And I got so excited to see that I kind of like booked it towards him. And I stood right in front of it. I couldn't stop looking at it. I was staring right into it. I knew it was a replica, and for some reason I was so fascinated by it that I wanted to hold it. Like, I wanted to grab it and hold it like a little baby, and I wanted just to, like, oh my goodness, like, I don't know why. And all I remember is just like staring at it. I kept turning around trying to listen, but then I remember just kind of like getting lightheaded, and apparently I just kept turning around and looking at this doll. My friend caught it and was trying to like snap me out of it, but I just kept ignoring it and just staring at it, trying to just grab it. We ended up walking out, and I remember our next room was the demon house. While I was in the room, I started getting like my eyes really like burning, kind of like when you go underwater swimming and your eyes just start to hurt. That's how it felt. So I kept rubbing my eyes because I knew like they were like kind of burning. So that's when we go into the room of the demon house, and they have us stand there and it's gonna start, and my eyes hurt, my head just gets so much pressure, and I just bolt out the door. I run out because I just felt so much pressure on me. There was nobody outside the door besides one tour guide, and she ran up to me and was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I just feel very lightheaded. And she was like, have a seat, sit down, get yourself together, everything's okay. And my friend ran out. What the heck? I don't know what happened. That was weird. My phone just glitched and it just flipped the camera. Anyways, so my friend comes out and he's checking up on me, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't remember really what I said to him, but I remember she kept saying, it's a replica, because he had mentioned that I kept staring at this doll. And I was like, I know it's a replica, I know it is, but I don't know why I kept being stuck on it. And then when I got into the demon house, I just like flushed out, my head started hurting, I was just weirded out. So the tour was over, and then as I'm walking out, I'm passing Lily, I just get tripped. I feel like a little brick, I don't know, like something small, like if I ran into it, like if, I don't know, a foot. The best way I could describe it was like a little foot, and I trip, and I turn around, and my niece is behind me. She's watching it, how it happened, because it happened to her too. And I just kind of was like, I'm freaking getting out of here. Even to the point where I'm running out, they're still like messing with me. So on my way out, Lily tripped me, and I was drained. I had so much pressure on my head that it went away really quickly when I walked out. But it definitely was draining. And the pressure in my head, I just couldn't handle it. I had to sit down. I was just like, I have to get the heck out of here. I didn't finish the tour because I didn't finish the demon house, but I think I did pretty good. I just put my car down towards the end, and something was in there messing with me, and it was intense. And yeah, if you haven't gone, I recommend it. I think it's a very cool experience to see all the things that they have in there. You just have to be careful, and you know, things can trip you, things can show up, things can scare you, things can, I don't know, but it's a really good time. If you don't want to go, that's okay too. You do not have to, but it was a really cool time for me, and I would go again. Alright, finally I have a few minutes to talk about the post that Zach Bagans posted on his Instagram. And yes, this is the exact location where I blacked out. And I was freaked out when I saw it, because when we were at the tour, a lot of the tour guides mentioned that there's been a lot of weird things happening at this lower room, I guess you can say. So let me walk you through now exactly what I remember from the tour and the museum. So here's an arrow right here, because there's another door here in another room, and that is where the Devil's Rocking Chair is in. When we walked in there, that's where I walked up to the chair, and I was staring at it and kind of just looking intrigued. And when I turned my head coming back out, this is where I kind of lost my sense of time in here. When we walked out, we ended up back here between these ropes, and we were listening to the story behind this doll right here. We were the last ones, or one of the last ones to come out to listen to the story, so I didn't get to hear anything. And also because I was so kind of zoning out here. We ended up turning around and going to the next room, which is right here, and that's where they had the replica of Robert the doll. And that's when things just started messing with me. I was very intrigued by the doll, like I mentioned in my other video. My friend that was with me was the one that was telling me to like turn around, trying to snap me out of it, and I just don't remember. I thought I turned around twice to look at the doll. Apparently I was just stuck on it. I do not remember the story in here either, because I was so focused on the replica that I just didn't even know what was going on. We ended up walking out, and what I remember, we ended up going in here. That is the demon house room. That's where I ended up getting like migraine, and my head started like feeling like a lot of pressure, and my eyes felt like they were burning. And I remember bolting out of that door. The tour guide came up to me here, and I sat there because she had told me to just sit down, trying to calm down. As I'm sitting there, my sister also bolts out of there, which was Vivi, and she was the one that, that's where she started freaking out, because she felt like somebody pulled her finger or held on to her finger. While she was talking to the tour guide about her experience, I remember getting up and walking into another room that's over here next to the conjuring room, and just trying to like process what was going on, trying to like get my, you know, I was blacking out, so I just was trying to focus and calm down. And that's where a lot of the people in my group were telling me that they noticed my eyes were weird. I told them that I felt like I was walking on a waterbed or something. So then when we walk out of that room to go into the gift shop, right here is where I ended up tripping. I thought I tripped on the rug. As you can see, there is no rug. And yeah, so when that happened and I tripped, my niece Mireya was right behind me, and she kind of giggled because she's like, that just happened to me too. And we ended up walking out into the gift shop and leaving the tour because it was the end of the tour. Now this door right here in the middle, that's the one that they were talking about, where I mentioned when we came out of the room, we just didn't hear what her story was. Pretty much she likes to prank people, trip them, make them fall, tip them over, things like that. So when I was walking out all weirded out, she pretty much just kicked me out, and she said, get the hell out of here. Looking at the layout now, it's so strange how I remember it compared to what really happened. Apparently when we walked out of this room, we went into that room. That's when I was distraught, and then we went into the demon house, and that's where the rest of the stuff happened. I don't remember it like that. I remember it how I explained it to you a little bit earlier. But yeah, my sense of time in here is all over the place. I don't remember much. I don't remember the timeline. But yeah, this is the exact room.